record player that produces beautiful sound and pictures through my TV. What is it called? Ah, Magnavision.
Would you be able to tolerate me showing you a pile of laser discs?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So here's the story. It all began when I mentioned offhand to my wife, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years ago or something, maybe more like 5. I was like, I would like to collect for Laserdisc. I see them. We always go to flea market. I see them nowhere. I don't hear anyone talking about them. The album the sleeve is always so cool because it's a different format. It was like that Christmas. She buys me like E.T., Peter Pan, like a few other, just ones that she was able to get off of eBay. Clerks, I think, was in that pile. And I said, like, oh, fuck, now I got to get a player. And, a player was like $200. And so I got this nice Pioneer one because I'm not going to buy a crappy one. And that's how I kind of got into Laserdisc. And now on the show, I've shown like, I got a Tiny Toons one or whatever. But I've kind of kept it to a minimum. I've kept it to like, I think I had fewer than 10. Well.
So it begins.
There I am on Facebook Marketplace, and there's a guy up in Canton, and it's a video of him flipping through a giant box of Laserdiscs. And I like to, almost every time you see a Laserdisc classified on Facebook Marketplace, it's tons of them, and they're all trash. It's one obscure, terrible-looking documentary or show from the ancient past, or whatever. It's all crap.
Got to be someone has died and a relative has inherited a ton of them, and they're like, oh, what do we do with them?
Well, this one says each for $5, so each Laserdisc is going to be $5. And he starts flipping through, and it's one banger after another. I'm like, what?
Ernest Saves Christmas. Ernest goes to Africa. Ernest.
I'm going to make you two grown men squee with a few of these, I think.
This is what I came here for.
Keep your pants on, EJ.
My short shorts are out of frame.
Yeah, keep your shorty shirts on.
Nina's not the type of person to tell me no for a lot of things, but it still feels ridiculous to use our precious weekend time to drive 2 hours north and buy a bunch of Laserdiscs from some guy in his basement. So I was kind of like, hey, what are we doing on Saturday? Are we gonna be anywhere north? And
I've already messaged this guy. I don't know.
Yeah. And she's like, we can go get the Laserdiscs if you really like. And yeah, so we were like, okay, we're going to go to some Italian place up there. We made a whole day of it. It was really fun. And when I get there, I was like, you want to come with me? She was like, you want me to go into this strange man's house? You want to bring your whole family? And I was like, oh, okay, I guess you're right. So she and Gloria stay there. And,
Zodiac.
Yeah, exactly.
Not many people have basements in California.
I do.
I'm greeted by the guy must have been 6'5". He was humongous, and he had shorts on in the blistering cold, and he walked me into.
So it's John Fetterman.
Yeah, exactly. And he walks me into this giant garage that he lives in, and he walks me over and he goes, "I got all kinds of stuff," and he goes, "I got things. I got horror. I got porn." I was like, "I'm not here for porn." Okay. It turned out he had a bunch of artsy Laserdisc porn, and I was like, I'm not there yet,
No. Nina might be. I'll ask her.
Nina, would you want any fine art porn on Laserdisc?
By the way, do you guys remember I always talk about this, going into the video store as a kid that had the beaded curtain?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And if you angled yourself just right, you can kind of get a peek at what was peeking underneath.
In the little pamphlets that you would get when you bought a movie, there would be a softcore porn section at the very, very end with little teeny thumbnails of the movies, and maybe you could jack it to that, maybe. And he poured in a storm.
This party's over.
So, but I thought I was going to go home with 7 because I saw the Batman Quadrilogy was in there and stuff. I was like, oh, I'll definitely get that. It's a Taxi Driver. But then he keeps bringing out boxes, and every time there's more awesome movies, and they're each $5. And I ended up spending $300 on Laserdiscs, and now I have a humongous Laserdisc collection. So let's do it.
Let's do it.
So look,
Oh God,
there you go.
right off the bat. And what you can't miss out on is the backs here. So this is one of those CBS Fox home videos with the slightly sun bleached photos. And a whole lot of text, because you got to fill up the backs of these things. They just go on and on and on about Young Frankie.
Don't want white space,
I would have went out just for this one, okay? Just for the one for $5.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
That's a great one.
just to frame it. This is a fine poster. But,
Super Bob Haskins, brother.
and it matches. This is pretty much exactly what the VHS art was. It's just in the square form. You know, some movies you just gotta get.
Oh yeah,
like Waterworld.
Waterworld.
That's it's not that bad movie.
Yeah, do you think you'll ever do it?
Maybe. I tend to not do too much action stuff, but I think that's like a ridiculously fun movie.
Are you just not an action guy or what?
No, I am. I sometimes like right now I'm doing one. I'm working on, and it's not that bad on the Benicio del Toro Wolfman.
Oh yeah, from like 2008 or something, or
10. Yeah.
10, yeah. I saw it in theaters.
Yeah. I remember Waterworld, like, before it came out, they were like, it's expensive, we hate it. And it's like, has anybody seen it yet?
Well, yeah, it was first and foremost resented for its expense, wasn't it?
Yeah. Kind of like Ishtar. Ishtar had that problem.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's like the story of that movie.
3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, and...
This is adorable. So I bought this on eBay. So it's Spinal Tap, of course.
Ah.
Ooh.
And look, it comes with a pick.
That's a real pick?
It's a real pick. Yeah, that's a real pick. And it says Spinal Tap on it. And it's it's the Black Album, right? And I love this.
Oh, that's
shit.
so cool.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know they're making a sequel?
Of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't be happier.
Legacy comedy sequels are tough.
I mean, when was so Rob Reiner's directing? Like, when was the last time he directed a really strong movie? It's probably been a while.
Comedy movie, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Christopher Guest is pretty funny in anything he does.
All those guys are funny, but it's like there's a certain out of touchness that I think you worry about with a project like that, and it's almost certainly going to get political.
That would fuck it up.
Oh, yeah, Rob Reiner's Twitter. Oh, God.
It does disturb me, but I rise above it. I'm a professional, right?
So Terminator 2.
Wow, that's a great cover.
I made a terrible mistake. Maybe EJ can benefit. I was going too fast through his collection. I got it again.
I assume they had to do different art on Laserdisc because of the different dimensions.
Yeah, or they, like the Roger Rabbit one, that's basically the poster that was on the VHS, but yeah, they had to kind of like completely reformat it. Got the first one because, it's one I paid $15 for because it's sealed. And I guess it's, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit more special, but Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
Anything on the back there? Yeah, I mean, I just love this shit. I don't know, it's got that 70s-ness. All right, so dig this. So a few months ago, I bought the original Star Wars Trilogy, and we had a fan, Super Anthony, who was really kind and bought us all Christmas gifts over the Christmas break. He gets me this tome.
Oh, wow.
That has the whole trilogy, and this is some special edition, widescreen.
But that was before the edits, right?
For a long time, this was the highest resolution, pre-special edition versions of the movies you could get, and the Harmy and all the rest of it, they source from these a lot.
Can you take one out? I would like to see what the actual disc looks like.
So here's the disc.
Our death ray doesn't seem to be working. I'm standing right in it, and I'm not dead yet.
It's amazing. It's amazing those exist.
And it's analog. I mean, it's not digital.
I remember I had growing up, my copy of Jurassic Park was one that had been burned onto a VHS by a coworker of my mom's who had it on Laserdisc. So it looked great.
I think probably the video quality is maybe 5 to 10% better than VHS, but more stable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the time, especially, that was
And the audio is probably 20 to 30% better.
Fact is, the stereo on the Pioneer Laserdisc is as good as anything I ever heard on my stereo. And according to the experts, the picture blows videotape away.
And it can hold more data. So, I mean, it has you have to flip sides and all that kind of shit. But they would do audio commentaries and deleted scenes. And, they would throw... This was the start of special features.
I'm going to take you on a lecture tour of King Kong as you watch the film. The Laserdisc technology offers us this opportunity, and we feel it's rather unique, the ability to switch back and forth between the soundtrack and this lecture track.
I don't know if you're a Sound of Music guy. I am. I love Sound of Music.
Yeah, I've definitely seen the Sound of Music at the local Salvation Army a few times. And not the Laserdisc, just the VHS. The CBS Fox Video.
The two tapes.
Yeah, and I've almost bought it several times.
Do you like Sound of Music?
You just kind of have to. It's like you even if you are so on it, I feel like you have to own it.
I just saw that Seth MacFarlane was talking about it being that the Godfather insists upon itself that came from one of his film professors saying that about The Sound of Music.
What didn't you like about it?
It insists upon itself, Lois.
The visual presentation of that movie is gorgeous. You watch that on Blu-ray, it's awesome. There was a few times I tried to get my daughter to watch it and to become interested in it, and it kind of, she's a little too young. It wasn't quite taking. I kind of just got like impatient last year. I was like, we're watching fucking Sound of Music. It's an institution. This is Sleeping Beauty. And it's like a nice, like, it seems like a big box, deluxe, gold, whatever. And he gave me this for $5. I'm only now seeing there's a Virgin Records price tag on this.
And here's 34 to 36.
And it was $99.95. You had to pay $100 for this.
Whoa!
Holy shit!
Well, what's that in today's money? Like $1,000?
This is a $1,000 movie. Deluxe widescreen edition. This is during a time where it's very popular to sell widescreen movies on 4x3 televisions.
Did you guys have Suncoast pictures?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love the Suncoast. I think there's a couple still around.
Oh wow.
Is that right?
Texas,
I would love to go
I believe
to
so.
one. So regionally here in like the New England area, we also had Strawberries, and they that turned into FYE, and I think a lot of Suncoasts turned into. I think FYE became like the new conglomerate for all of these. I love Simon and Garfunkel, so I got I saw that they had the concert in Central Park, and I was like, that's the perfect thing for me to own on Laserdisc. Like absolutely perfect.
Did this guy get into how he had such an eclectic?
Oh yeah,
collection?
that's a good point. I asked, I was like, how do you have good things? And he was like, well, I'm really into like vinyl and I'm into players and I like he collects like various technology. And he goes, and what kept happening is when I would buy a player, he's like, I bought that Pioneer like DVD Laserdisc combo over there. I bought it off of some guy on Craigslist, and he had like a big lot of movies that came with the player, and they happened to be like half of the stuff was his. So I think people who are really active in collecting and buying, they end up through osmosis with all kinds of stuff, and then they offload that. And like I bought a VCR. I needed a really good VCR recently for capturing some footage, and I bought it from a guy who was really into vinyl, and somehow he like found himself with VCRs along the way. I think
it's shocking what a pain in the ass it is to get a VCR nowadays.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You would think someone would like do some kind of modern or just like they do with
vinyl.
These, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Technology can't be that hard to replicate.
Well, it doesn't make much sense probably to have a market for VHS, like a collector's market for VHS just yet. But I think that the fact that CRTs have become so in vogue for retro gaming setups, it's just the next logical, obvious thing.
Yeah, I'm waiting for like a Chinese company to make a bunch of cheap CRTs like to get like aging millennials like us.
Rocky Horror. And more. I should keep showing off the backs. I just think they're such fun.
Yeah, for such a visual medium, they put a lot of words on the back.
But do you see what I mean by like you just can't believe it's like look, Princess Bride.
Yeah, it's like
you just can't believe
the Criterion collection.
$5, Joe.
Is that the same Criterion collection? That's
Well, Criterion was really big with Laserdisc.
I didn't know that.
In fact, I believe Laserdisc is where they really kind of got their big.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a collector's item then.
More Schwarzenegger with Predator.
You son of a bitch.
Doubtfire.
Oh.
How do you feel about Robin Williams? You got a soft spot or
love him. I certainly think like all 90s big stars. There's some duds in there, but even the not great ones, he comes through in them.
Okay, check this out. Ready? If you like Monty Python, so we got now for something completely different, the sketch movie, and then Meaning of Life. We just got all of them,
which is great.
Oh, wow.
This motherfucker had all the Python. So you can understand why I kept grabbing more movies. Yeah. Oh, he sold. This was $15. He's like, Life of Brian's $15.
Jeez.
Holy Grail, and
there's another
Parrots
Criterion.
Not Included, which is a really funny title for a collection.
You ever seen this? Mr. Toad's Wild Ride?
Oh, of course. Yes.
That was a big one for me growing up. It's like Monty Python for kids.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. I think it has all of them in it besides Gilliam. Yeah, Eric Idle, Terry Jones.
Yeah.
Cleese is in it. Michael Palin. Yeah, I think Wind in the Willows it was called in everywhere else but the States.
So you did That's My Bush, which is basically Faulty Towers in so many ways.
Oh, yeah.
You ever interested in doing more television retrospectives?
For sure, yeah. I'm actually, eventually I'm going to get to the American failed remakes of Faulty Towers. All 3 of them.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I tried that 3 times. Once with B. Arthur, once with Harvey Korman, and then once with John Larroquette.
I would love to see that video.
It'll happen.
I'm never missing a hats off ever again. Not after this conversation.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button.
Like, subscribe.
Hit the bell. Bang it. Bang the bell.
You know what's fine? I don't know if you guys have gotten the emails, but from very well-intentioned people who design YouTube thumbnails, and they're like, "Hey, I do YouTube thumbnails if you want to hire me." And it's just like the formulaic crap that you see on every like hack YouTube video, like big green arrows and bold money and just like people's in outline. It's just like
it must work.
There's a science to it.
Road Warrior, and
The
Beyond
best.
Thunderdome, but not the original. I don't have. So now I gotta see. You see the problem with collecting?
He lives now, only in my memories.
Jurassic Park.
Ah.
So we've got like this big kind of beefy Jurassic Park that has the. I haven't really unsleeved it, but there's the back there. And then I was lucky enough, he had Lost World, which of course is where it stops. I don't think they did the 3rd one on Laserdisc. And then this is such a curiosity. The making of Jurassic Park on Laserdisc.
Ah.
I love it.
The Jurassic Park logo is so good.
I love that orange, that warm with the black. Like those Jurassic World movies with that icy blue, I hate that. But like that original with the tree line, that's such a great
you're
logo
so
design.
right.
Yeah.
This is like, you know, talk about thumbnail science. Geez.
Yeah.
That's peak design right there.
Those making of things, like there used to be entire series, like in the 90s and 2000s, that were just like, here's how they make movie magic. And like sometimes I think that stuff was more impactful than actually watching movies.
The reason I love DVD is because, the thing I would rewatch way more often was the making of, or commentaries, or what. Yeah, like I normally get for a movie I really love, I'll get a good hit out of the first viewing, I'll get another good hit out of a second viewing, and then I'll really obsess over all the meta around it. Which to make your videos, you must have to do the same, really.
One of the things I really rely on is like those DVDs from the early 2000s that were just loaded with special features.
Yeah, I love them.
Because that's stuff they don't make anymore.
So true.
And like when I was doing The Grinch, that was the only way I was able to make that video was by tracking down those. Like they would give you a whole nother disc of just you know.
In your video with Home Alone 2, and you said there's no like special features on the disc. I remember that phenomenon with Ghostbusters 2, the other sequel that nobody likes. The first disc of Ghostbusters has so many great special features, and then you get. I remember going to the DVD. I saw it was Ghostbusters 2. I love Ghostbusters, and I saw the special features. I didn't even buy the disc because there weren't any.
Yeah, it's funny too because they really they went from being like, yeah, we'll be like now we're going to give you every special like we'll put little text blurbs on the screen that you can turn on that'll give you fun facts about the movie as it plays. Like they were just.
I've mused before at the idea of doing dedicating a channel to reviewing point-in-time DVD releases.
That'd be great.
Just talk about the menus, what was on there, just these little kind of, a way for YouTube viewers to experience a DVD they may or may not ever get to have or totally out of print.
I think it's annoying, but when characters would interact with the audience on the DVD menu, like over here we have the...
Oh, yeah.
I know you guys did a VHS for Boxmac. You should do the interactive DVD menu, and you guys could, over here.
Dress up as a flight attendant.
I was just gonna say, I don't know if you saw our Kick-Assia discussion, but I just bought a bunch of.
Doug Walker. You bought some Doug's old DVDs, yeah.
Yeah, and he went to the nines with interactive character menus, and I fucking love it. You ever heard of this movie? I don't know if you've heard of this one.
It's a little film.
Rings a bell.
Little indie gem. This may be a hats off movie if you haven't done it already.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh baby.
Yeah, I love the Roger Rabbit short too.
Yes, and you know what? It's like well advertised here.
Well, on the poster, yeah.
Tummy Trouble, wherein Roger Rabbit is tortured.
I remember going to Disney World around the time, like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids came out. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and they were really trying to push Roger Rabbit at a Disney World, and because I remember getting like
same for
he was around the park. They gave you these like coins with him on there. He was like on signs everywhere. They were really hoping he would be a thing.
They had like a factory you could go to where like you could sit under the steamroller that crushed Christopher Lloyd. I mean, talk about making ofs. You know, watching the way they robotically rigged everything to move in concert with the actors is just so incredible. Goodfellas, EJ recently got it on VHS. I got it on Laserdisc.
You guys are competing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of legacy media one-upsmanship here. My wife is a huge Gone with the Wind gal. I don't know if you guys can relate at all to that.
I've got the 2 VHS pack.
My dad recently, I was telling him that I got this, and he has an original 1930 something published version of the book, like one of the early runs of the book.
Wow.
And it needs to be rebound for sure, but like the pages are in pretty good shape, and he gifted it to Nina, so I was like, oh, that's so cool. Forbidden Planet, you know, it's cool to have some of the
Leslie Nielsen, a serious role.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Do you guys remember when McDonald's sold VHS tapes?
No.
There was a brief period of time in the early 90s. They started to like, yeah, we'll sell VHS tapes. We'll get a special deal. I have an ET copy that was part of their promotion.
That's really cool. Was it like a specialized version of the tape?
It's a different, a little different label, but
I'm aware of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Burger King ones. The Burger King Kids Club tape.
Yeah.
I always liked it when a tape came with something. And a lot, a lot of times they'd be 20 minutes. You know, they just give you 20 minutes or something. Deer Hunter, love this fucking movie. This is a crazy movie.
That's got to be a 2-parter, 2 discs.
Oh yeah, I mean most of these, honestly, I think like most of these are, or almost all of them. You got to flip the sides at some point, unless you have a player that can do it for you.
Remember in high school we were learning about the Holocaust, so we were going to watch Schindler's List, but the teacher made a fuck up and put part 2 in first. So we watched Schindler's List from the middle to the end, and then
it's an artistic choice.
Yeah, we were like, oh, I guess they're just throwing us into the story here.
I think one of my favorite things about collecting for Laserdisc is you can't have any modern shit anywhere in the pile.
No,
you're stuck with good movies. Sorry, unless it's one of those shit piles. There's another Casino.
You're telling me there's no Irishman on?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if Katie Video or somebody wants to start putting Irishman on Laserdisc, I'll buy it. More Mel Gibson.
Oh, Braveheart!
And look at that! Look at that poster. I'll get your attention. Say what you want about Mel Gibson, but the son of a bitch knows story structure. This is really fucking cool. Terry Gilliam's right, Brazil.
That's good. Yeah, it's a Criterion too.
Also Criterion. Look at that big old tome.
It's fat.
The shame, the sad truth is I spend most of my time working, parenting, or editing. And the idea that I'd sit in my office watching Laserdiscs is it's like impractical. But maybe someday.
You're not going to pop in Brazil?
Yeah, maybe when I break my legs someday, and I have nothing to do but watch every last one of these. Are you a Blues Brothers man?
Oh, yeah. This is an idea for a video I have where it might be one that I watch and I think it's bad, but I might do and it's not that bad on the sequel.
It's a bad movie with tons of good components. Like good music, good car chases and car crashes, good cinematography, a good cast. Like there's a lot of good things happening in that movie.
There's also a video game. Do you remember that? There's an
N64.
I do.
There was an N64 one too.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I saw a great tweet the other day. It was like, Dan Aykroyd has been represented in a video game through every era of video games.
Whoa. That's like that was like Jimmy Carter, was there for every Nosferatu release or something. Okay, Blade Runner. Which, now here's director's cut, but what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah,
it's very curious. Harrison Ford, Blade Runner, the director's cut, the original cut of the futuristic adventure. So the director's cut was the original cut, but that doesn't mean not the original release.
It's something with the narration. I know the narration's part of it.
Yeah, it's controversial.
Yeah, the first time I saw it was on DVD, I think, and there was no narration. And then I remember we watched it for like a class or something. And there was narration. I'm like, oh, this narration's awful. I don't remember this.
Let's just do the countdown. It was the first thing I saw on Facebook Marketplace. And I was like, well, I'm going to drive out just for that, I think.
We stepped into some shit on our podcast recently because I watched Batman Forever after The Penguin. I was like such in a Batman media mood that I was like, oh, I'm going to watch Batman Returns. And I'm like, yeah. But like, Great movie, Batman Returns. But
Love it.
Batman Forever, I had like nostalgia. I just remembered enjoying it way more than I ended up. It was terrible. I thought.
It's interesting. I do feel like Batman Forever for a lot of people has entered into Mario Brothers the movie territory, where they're like, okay, it wasn't what we wanted it to be, and it was remembered in a bad way, but like, it did have Arkham Asylum in it, and it did have like, it's a pretty good Jim Carrey comedy, you know, like all things considered, and I suppose that, you know, the music is iconic. Yeah, I feel like there's a little bit of love for Forever.
My argument with it is that it's so jarring though to go from Returns to that.
Well,
whereas when you get the Batman and Robin, it like Batman Forever prepares you for Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
For Batman and Robin. Whereas that the leap from the leap from Returns to Forever is like
Returns is a top 5 superhero movie for me of all time.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
It's a great Tim Burton movie.
And it's almost, I said this on our podcast, it's black and white almost. Like, it's just very desaturated. Yeah. There's not a lot of colors. And then you go to Batman Forever where it's just like,
bleh.
Yeah, garish.
Boiling acid.
Do you like the circus?
Tell me, Doctor, do you like the circus? This is, I think, maybe one of the coolest
classic
Laserdisc album cover. And look at this. Look at this.
Oh, yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about.
Now do your Kevin Smith talking about that summer of '89, man. The bat signal was everywhere.
Hey, man, I've been asked to be in yet another documentary, man, about the summer of '89. People were carving the bat signal into their penis and shit like that. Fucking.
They were. I was there.
Yeah.
Gotta love Kevin. He gave a hats off video a plug very early on.
He did?
A Fat Man on Batman. Yeah, I forget what exactly one he saw. But he's like, hey, I saw it on Hats Off Entertainment, man. I was like,
hats off on Fats Off, man. Yeah. Everybody was peeing the bat signal in snow and shit like that, man. One of the most depressing films ever made. Apocalypse Now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very...
Not Redux either.
No. Now, is this any kind of special? Well, you know, widescreen. They all tout digital surround sound. So maybe I don't understand the technology. I think it's an analog video signal, but maybe a digital.
Yeah, there's something. One of them's digital, one of them's analog. I think that's
that might explain why the audio is so much better than the video is.
Now, who am I to argue?
The Pioneer Laserdisc brand video disc player.
And then, you know, Hearts of Darkness.
Oh, that's a good companion.
Exactly, and a quintessential films about filmmaking movie. A genre I love, and James Rolfe, I think, you know, many years ago made like a top 5 movies about making movies video, and it was great. And of course, American Movie topped it. But
I believe that was my introduction to American Movie. That video.
I always tell the story. I had an English teacher who was like, I think it was my junior year of high school. He's like, you'd like this. And he handed me a tape of it. And I watched it thinking it was like a Christopher Guest, like, mockumentary thing. I was like, there's no way these are real people.
It feels that way, yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't until it became kind of like sentimental and that I was like, oh, wait, I'm watching a real human being. It was like very like disconcerting to realize halfway through a viewing experience that, like, wait, these aren't characters in a fantasy.
Yeah, these are real people.
Yeah, it was really weird. Alice in Wonderland, you know, another one of these. I just, you know, that Disney art that pops is so cool.
Yeah, that one came out of the vault, no doubt.
No doubt, but it's in Frankie's fucking vault.
I wonder if there's a Song of the South Laserdisc.
I don't think so.
It hasn't come up on my Facebook Marketplace. I can tell you that much.
EJ's Facebook.
We have such sights to show you.
That sounds like the holy grail of racist laserdiscs. It's a short list. Yeah, 12 Monkeys. Yeah, yet another Terry Gilliam. That's my whole collection.
That's amazing. You were right. All bangers.
Yeah, one after another. My God, I would have spent $300.
Nina saw me walking out with the boxes, and she's like, "What's he doing?" And I was like, "You question me now. We're gonna get home. We're gonna do a little unboxing together. You're gonna, like, one after another. You're gonna be pleased."
And then there's the box of porn we can go back for.
That'll be it. That's the Patreon show.
Would you like to buy some artistic porn?
If you guys are open, I would love to come back. I'll go through some of my physical media treasures that I own.
Absolutely. Anytime. That sounds like a blast.
So there you have it. Gourmet video. for people who know and love video.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.